Hey y'all, it's Day. So, I'm going to be doing a reading today using the Somnia Tarot deck. Very much looking forward to this reading. If you would like to book a private reading with me, you could do so through my website, which will be in the comment section below. And if you resonate with the message, please like the message so I know that the message was received as well. We may get interrupted. If so, I will adjust accordingly. And I want to thank my angels, guides, ancestors, God source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What needs to be heard? I'm trying to make sure that I didn't get anything in my eye. So far, the shuffle feels good, feels great, actually. Okay. So, top of the deck, undercurrent energy is the devil in reverse. Very interesting energy. I would like to get more context. So, the top left of the spread, we have the King of Swords in reverse. And I was hearing downtime. There is a reference to someone with power, someone with authority, someone with will, someone with a purpose, someone that wants to get things done, want to create things, want to make a difference, make a move. And now I'm hearing powerless. It's kind of like they're being held up, or they're like being put in this holding space where they rather take action right now. They rather exercise their authority or their skill, but they're kind of being either held back or told to hold back something or to exercise patience. On the right of that, we have the Two of Coins. So definitely balance is, or this is a matter of balance. And I'm hearing the word reputation as well. So reputation is not in question, but can be affected or influenced based on their actions or inactions. And there is an emphasis on when you do decide to take when you do decide to take action, to keep in mind balance. And I am also getting like this feeling of temperament, being mindful of temperament, being mindful of not making hasty decisions. Directly underneath both of these cards, the Queen of Swords in reverse and the Two of Coins, we have the Nine of Wands coming out upright. One second. Okay, so the Nine of Wands. With the Nine of Wands coming out underneath the King of Swords and the Two of Coins. Oh, what was I hearing? I was hearing a word before. I had got a call. But with this Nine of Wands, it's kind of like something about moving more slowly or not being so fast to action or managing your temperament is going to benefit you and your character. And it's going to make you more powerful, more self-assured, more, um, I definitely see it adding to your value, whoever this reading is for, by exercising that faith. And I'm hearing commercial vehicle again. So for me as a reader, that means someone having the capability or the opportunity to move from one stage of their life to the next. And it's just something about not moving too hastily or making rash decisions. But it's also like understood that it's not considered a rash decision because spiritual team is coming through to kind of acknowledge who you are and where you are in your life. Like they feel like you're worthy of a certain title. So if you do make a decision, they're not necessarily considering it as rash, like to do without thought, but there is this another type of level that's kind of like, okay, to be superior or to be, it's kind of like if you're an emperor, it's something that the emperor knows that the king doesn't know. It's that type of quality. Like spiritual teams, like there's levels to this. Um, so there's something that the emperor knows that the king doesn't know, and it has to do with decision making. Because you know the emperor, they're over much more land than the king, or a much bigger region than the king. And there's certain things that the emperor knows that the king doesn't know. And in reference to these exercises or practices of not making hasty decisions or not being too eager to take action, by allowing things to play out, by holding your fire. That's definitely the energy with this King of Swords coming out. It's like this person has authority. This person could do this. It's definitely giving, just because you could doesn't mean you should. It's definitely giving looking at the bigger picture. It's definitely giving we're playing chess, not checkers. So it's like playing the long game type of energy with this King of Swords. Yes, you have the authority to do this, but is that going to benefit you long term? With the balance card, the Two of Coins coming out right beside the King of Swords. So spiritual team saying, be mindful of balance. And with the Nine of Wands in the traditional tarot, it's the guy with holding a wands with like 8 wands behind him, and his arm is bandaged and his head is bandaged. So there's this energy of like he could be like he may have went on a journey and he's a little banged up, or he might have gotten into a fight and he's a little banged up. So there is this recovery time needed in the traditional tarot. And even though the imagery is different in this deck, it still holds that same energy. This person is kind of walking, looks like they're walking on water, and they have candles behind them. So something about the journey is delicate. It's like he's able to do this amazing thing walking through this water, or where is he going? There's nothing but water. Even if he's not walking on the water, maybe he's walking on some pebbles or some rocks. There is this energy with the him holding the umbrella of balance and a delicacy. There is a certain level of wisdom. Not everybody can do this, but also there is a respect, there's a regard for what he's doing as well, himself and any of the people that are viewing him doing this. So it's this element of he could hurt himself in the process as well, or something could be damaged in the process as well. It's like it's a delicate task. So spiritual team is saying being mindful of these practices and knowing that balance is important because it's a delicate task. Perhaps we can influence something or someone in a way that we weren't intending to by not being mindful of the higher vision, the long-term effects of the long-term consequences of, or the playing the long game, taking the scenic route. In regards to taking the scenic route, it's kind of like you want to be mindful of the resources that you have. You don't want to just use them any kind of way. You want to be mindful of, I might need this later, or making things stretch. That type of energy is coming up. So towards the bottom, far bottom of the spread, and it's actually coming out directly underneath the top of the deck, undercurrent energy, that was the devil card in reverse. So I'm definitely seeing like um it's like our shadow is pulling at us, or for whoever this reading is for, with this authority that they have. So I'm getting like for a mundane example, I'm getting someone like a principal or someone that's authority figure. I'm getting a security guard as well. It's like you have the authority to punish someone in a way. Um, but you didn't realize, if we were to had the ability to fast forward, we didn't realize that the person that we were punishing or making things difficult for or holding our nuts on, we didn't realize that that person had a connection to someone else in the future that we wanted to do something. So it's giving like, 3 months later, I didn't realize that this person that I was being rude to was the brother or sister of this other person that I want to connect with. And this is not a scenario where, I shouldn't have, exercised my authority on this person just for that connection, but it's giving this energy of like, I could have not. I could have exercised my patience more. I didn't have to do that. So definitely, I want to be careful with this. I'm not saying like, this person knows this person, therefore they shouldn't have gotten a punishment that they should have, or had a consequence that they should have because of that. But it's kind of like giving a little bit of power trip. I'm not getting abuse of power with this, but it's kind of like you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to take it to that degree, or I didn't have to take it to that degree, but not knowing that until time passes and we're in the future now, and we realize, damn, I already kind of. Oh yeah, what I was hearing before the break was reputation. That's what I couldn't remember. Reputation. So it's kind of like someone already has a first impression of us because of an interaction that they had with us, and they can actually, whoever this person that they're connected to, that you wish that now that they wouldn't have had someone that could give a negative review of you. It's something about we would have kind of changed our approach had we known. But our spiritual team is like, this should already be built in anyway, and that would have been built in had we exercised our patience, our tolerance, um, our mannerisms, how we handle conflict, even that type of energy. So I'm getting whoever this reading is for, it's not so much that they're abusing their power or acting out of integrity, poor integrity, is just kind of like, ugh, I wish that I wouldn't have done that or handled this differently. So, that's what the devil card was speaking to. I was asking for more context earlier, as it is the undercurrent top of the deck energy. But one of the cards that's coming out directly underneath that is the moon card. So I'm seeing like whoever this reading for is for, we will be presented an opportunity where we will have to exercise our patience. I'm also getting like maybe someone's waiting in line. It's that energy of waiting in line and being really frustrated because we feel like things are moving a lot slower than they should be, and maybe snapping on someone or making a commentary or not being seen in the best of light because we're a little impatient and we feel like something should be happening in the time that we feel like or the way that we feel like. But there's hidden aspects that we're not seeing with the moon card coming out underneath the devil card. And our spiritual team is saying this is speaking to our shadow. This incident, this event, it's tugging on our shadow. So back to the security guard example, it's kind of like they didn't have to do it this way, but they did because they really want to flex their authority, and they're still within the bounds. They're not abusing their power, but again, it's going to that behavioral type of energy where it's just like, didn't have to do that, didn't have to go there, didn't have to. It's giving the person that you were doing this to kind of picked up on that energy. That's just like, oh, this person is just being a prick. Like, you made that person feel like that through your actions, like that you didn't have to do that, but you did. Wow, crazy. Okay, so towards the middle of the spread, we have the high priestess, discernment, patience. There is this higher knowledge. So I'm also getting energy of a cop pulling someone over, and this authority or this demeanor that they may have in pulling someone over. It's the energy of they could have been understanding, but they chose not to be. And there is this thing where your power can get away from you, where you can think we can almost forget how we're connected or that we're connected. But I'm getting more so how we're connected. So a police officer, not saying that if someone's speeding that they're wrong for giving them a ticket, but it's maybe in how they handled it or why they handled it the way they did. It's something about that, and it's something about someone feeling like this is not going to affect me. You're just and I'm being referenced to someone. Maybe they're just the cashier, or they're just the garbage man, or they're just but this person is connected. We're all connected to something in some way, somehow. And it's almost like this person having this authority and having the ability. Nobody's going to check you. Nobody's going to tell you that you did something wrong. But the way our spiritual team is bringing it through is like, you're going to know that you should have handled things differently. So the high priest is coming up. So I want to take a couple of deep breaths for myself and for all of us. It's definitely giving backtracking energy. If you've ever had a poor interaction with someone, but then you had to go back to where they worked, or you had to go back to where they lived, you didn't really anticipate crossing paths with this person. You're just like, like that. I'm never going to see this person again. This person's not even in my circle. Then you go to a social event and, ooh, they're there. And how are they there? Oh, they're connected to this person and that person, or they do this type of work on the side, and that's what makes this person. And so it's kind of like, now I'm going to have a conversation with this person, even though I really rather not to, because they're connected in this way. And our spiritual team is wanting us to get grounded and now get in the mindset of checking our self, checking our authority, checking our whys. Ooh, checking our why, like why, but wise, W-I-S-E, checking our whys. Okay. Then we have the Ten of Wands coming out beside this High Priestess, this higher authority. And this High Priestess reminded me of the Emperor versus the King analogy. But the Ten of Wands is, I'm trying to remember what that is in the traditional tarot. Oh yeah, the person carrying the load up a slight hill. So there is a burden with this authority. This is definitely giving the energy of things hanging over your head. Someone fumbled the bag. Definitely giving that first impression energy I was giving. It's kind of like, damn, now you can't pitch your sale to this person. Now you can't market yourself or bring up this idea because you already made a first impression. You already kind of made your bed with your actions. Right next to that, we have the Death card coming out in reverse, and this Death card is giving, oh, you're gonna have to eat that. And next to that, we have the Queen of Wands. This is like a connection really could have been made. Under certain other circumstances, I probably would have did this for you. But nah, that's why I'm getting the other person in this party. It's like, in other circumstances, I probably would have did it. I actually like, whatever your business is or whatever your mission is or your purpose, whatever this pitch is, whatever this networking thing is. I actually, don't have a problem with people that do that, but do I want to extend? So, and then now I'm also getting that this person that you've given a bad impression to, they're also being given an opportunity to exercise their higher vision, their scenic route, what is their long game. And it's boiling down to a matter of grace. Does this person want to extend grace to you? But it's because we didn't exercise our use of power or authority, because we didn't have our shadow in check. Now, while otherwise, okay, I'm getting a call. I'll have to come back to you guys. Okay, so where otherwise we would kind of like have the upper hand, or it would have been easier to have this interaction, now we're subject to someone else's grace. So I see someone having to cross paths with someone that they kind of already gave a poor impression to, and the other person picked up on that poor impression or felt some type of way about the interaction. And I see them also still considering it. It's like they're considering it, but they're kind of leaning more towards, I don't know if I want to, have that interaction. And there may also be a third party, like a connection between the two of y'all, where it's kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that person. And them referring to the other person like, you know this person? And you also being like, damn, I didn't know this person knew this person. And it doesn't have to be a person to person. It could be an organization knows of another organization, or a job is somehow tied to another job, or is something where there's a third party connection. Okay. So underneath this high priestess, where we're talking about our spiritual team wants us to exercise our higher knowing, our higher vision, our higher authority, long game type of energy. We have the hermit, the hierophant, I was going to say. We have the hermit coming out underneath that. So I'm getting deep reflection energy. And then I was hearing penetrable. So either this situation is putting someone in deep thought, as in like they feel like they fumbled something, and that causing deep reflection over their action, and they're having to reanalyze who they are. And it's kind of like missing an opportunity for collaboration because of that. So I'm getting two parts, like someone actually missed it. They missed the mark and they're going to have to reflect on that. And they're realizing that they're going to have to change something about their character that would help prevent this in the future. And then I'm seeing another group of people that maybe this person will extend grace to them and still be open to networking or collaborating with them. But it was a matter of grace. It was a matter of them overlooking their first impression and giving a second chance. And in receiving that extended grace, the person that is receiving it, us, whoever this reading is for, is like acknowledging that they didn't have to do that, and kind of making a vow to themselves that they are going to be more mindful of how they handle and how they wield their sword, their authority, their power in the future. Okay, so we had that here. Okay, so earlier we had the death card coming out in reverse underneath this 10 of wands, this burden, this thing hanging over their head that they did or didn't do, or how they handled something. And there is this small death. So there's this energy of a small death, of kind of being embarrassed or feeling like, I didn't know this. And on top of that, we have the Queen of Wands. And there's this acknowledgement of, now it's tying back to the other person. So this person is also kind of, like we said, extending grace to you. But I see this Queen of Wands is tied to that High Priestess, where it's kind of like they benefit from overlooking this first impression from you too. So it's kind of like these people are tied to each other. There's this element of karma, whereas now, aha, I have the upper hand. So there's power plays. This person had the upper hand and they chose to use it this way. And now this person has the upper hand and they could choose to use it a certain way. But it's almost this backbiting energy where I could still benefit from collaborating with this person, even though I don't want to because of the first impression that I had with them. But how is it going to benefit me long term as well? But I see both people at one point being at mercy to the other. But yet and still, you do still have value. You still, with this Queen of Wands, you still have value. You still have integrity. You have backing. You have built something for yourself. So I see that person contemplating, do I want to have another interaction with them, or do I want to flex on them? Like, oh, you did this. So it's definitely giving this energy of like, oh, you treated me this way. I could show you, how we play now that you're on my field, is that type of energy. And now what's coming out in the middle of the spread is the Three of Swords. both parties are given the opportunity to really flex their power and authority, but will they? And it's going back to this energy that was coming through earlier in the reading, that is, just because you should, just because you could doesn't mean you should type of energy. And depending on how these parties play this, they both lose. They both don't have to know that they lost, though. That's the thing. And so we're in this energy of ego. The only reason why we know this now, the behind the scenes, how things are playing out and how we're connected and tied to each other and our consequences, is because of this reading. But on face value, both these people are like on the chessboard or the checkerboard. They're making power plays, they're making power moves with each other. But, depending on how they play it, say, tit for tat, I'm going to get you back, I'm going to get you back. They secretly both know, I could have benefited from connecting with this person, or I could have benefited from, not flexing my authority on this person. They both secretly know this, but our spiritual team, because we have this connection with our spiritual team, we now know that both benefit from this connection. And if they were to know and to exercise this higher vision that is the high priestess, we would know the threads, the lines that connect us all. So it's really getting past the ego in order to receive, understand, take advantage of these authority. Okay, so back to the far left of the spread, we talked about earlier this Nine of Wands, where someone can do something very incredible, but there's a respect, there's a reverence that this person with authority has for the authority that they have. While the viewer, everybody that's witnessing this, could look at this person as, wow, this person is walking on water, or they're treading this thing, they're making this feat. Wow. The people that are viewing this want to give all the power and authority to this person doing this. But if this person is truly exercising their authority and they're knowing this the way that they're supposed to, they have reverence for what they're doing. So they know that it's not just them. They know that this is delicate. They could fall flat on their face. They know that they could drown. They know something that the other people don't know, that are looking at them and just thinking, wow, and then there's this energy of like, people want to bow to them. People want to kneel to them. But this person won't allow them to do that because they know something that the other people that are viewing don't know, which is this reverence to a higher power, reverence to the skill. They have respect for the skill. They have respect for the craft, that they're not going to pimp it out. They're not going to just act like they're the only one. They're not going to act like this is something frivolous. They're not going to act like this is just who they are and they've always been this person. And I love that. This is so powerful. So reminding us that this Nine of Wands is coming out directly underneath this King of Swords we were talking about earlier, where this person has power and authority, but our spiritual team is wanting us to hold off, to use our discernment in exercising our power and authority. We don't exercise our power and authority as if we're the only one that holds the power of our will. And there's this understanding that our will is tied to something. The reason why we use our will, it is tied to karma. So it's just like, I'm getting, for simplicity, someone denying an application. They have the authority to deny an application. Nobody's going to check them about it, and they're within the guidelines. But there's something about this application that our spiritual team is saying that knowing is us connected to a higher power than ourselves, a higher authority than ourselves, a higher. It's tied to empathy, it's tied to making an exception. Someone has the ability and the authority to make an exception for something because they know something or see something that others don't. And it's whether or not they choose to do it. So it's definitely giving um, the actions that we take when we think nobody is looking. On this channel, I would hope everybody knows that we're always being observed. If not by, like, if you don't, subscribe to God, it's our psyche. Our psyche knows. So, I just wanted to remind that this Nine of Wands was coming out directly underneath this King of Swords and the Two of Pentacles, where our spiritual team is saying balance is important, holding off. And I'm getting this energy of, you've seen those videos of people that are training their pets, but mostly their dogs, and they'll put their food out in front of them, but they are not allowed to eat until the human gives the cue. It's that type of energy of like, the food is right in front of me. My owner has walked out the room, and it's giving the impression that they're not here, even though we as the humans, the viewer, viewing the human recording this, we know that they're watching, but the dog may not know that they're watching. But more so the energy is like the self-restraint, the discipline, that even when I think that I'm not being watched, I'm watching me. And I have the discipline and the higher vision for myself, that I know that because my owner told me to wait, I know the bigger picture, the long game. So, the dog may have a certain idea in their head, but let's say they do wait, and they do win that trust of their owner by exercising that faith. What all could come from this relationship, because my owner has trust in me now, that they know, or they think at least, that I have the ability, the capacity to discipline myself or to withhold myself. What benefits come with that trust? What benefits come from that trust that we have now established? That's the energy. Get into it, you guys. Let me know in the comment section how you feeling about this. I think this is there's this twofold energy that is coming through here. So underneath that Nine of Wands, we have the Empress. Ooh. So it's like what we can receive later with the dog analogy. I don't know what it is. I don't have an example here yet, but maybe this dog is going to get treats later that, maybe the owner didn't have these thoughts beforehand. Maybe they weren't even planning, like, oh, I'm going to give this dog treats if they can accomplish this. But it's already built in through the action. It's built in later on. Maybe that owner is like, man, you know what? I trust my dog. Or they're having a conversation with their friend, like, yep, I did this and they did not even take the bait. And I have this trust for them. I'm going to get them this, or I'm going to do this for them. It's that type of, like, it's giving this, where's the card? Earlier, the Ace of Coins came out in reverse. I'll come across it again, but it's kind of like something hidden, a hidden benefit of exercising this inner authority that we have. But with the Empress, it's kind of like you wouldn't be able to receive these things because you weren't in receiver mode in the first place. So the Empress is coming out in the resistant position. I'm like thinking of something else outside of this reading. It's like, I think it's like I'm arguing with someone. I'm like, no, there's a big difference. That's what I'm thinking about. I don't know why I'm having this side conversation. I'm like, no, there's a big difference between what I'm doing and what this other person is doing. Maybe that's not the case. I don't know. Well, having this side conversation. No, there's a big difference. Okay, so we have a set of cards coming out underneath these previous cards that we had talked about. So we had the Ten of Wands where someone is being burdened or something is hanging over their head. It's giving consequence. Then we have the Death card, someone feeling embarrassed by their actions merely because of the fact they didn't know how this person or this thing was going to be tied to someone else. So it's someone having to cross a bridge that they didn't think that they were going to have to cross again with this Death card and being embarrassed. And also it's just like at the same time from our spiritual team's perspective, they have value. It's not that, so there's this energy is twofold, not twofold. There's this two-part energy where someone, because I said earlier, there's this group that kind of fumbled the bag, and maybe this person does want to flex back on them, and so they missed the opportunity. They missed the opportunity altogether, but in reality, both of them missed the opportunity. And then there is this other energy where the other person actually gives it back to them. They extend grace back to them. And they know that and they're going to do better in the future for the other group of people that is going to have grace extended back to them by the very person that they exercise their authority onto, maybe unnecessarily. But the thing that kind of saves them is the grace that this person is willing to extend to them, and also they have their shit together. So if you did this exercising your authority on someone unnecessarily and you don't have your shit together, you're fucked. But if you actually do have your shit together and this person decides on their own behalf, because of their higher vision and connection to higher power, that they're going to extend grace to you, then you may be good. So those are the qualifiers. There's a qualifier here. Like, yeah, you got some stuff going, and there's also this energy of like this person is not just doing it just because you do have something of value. It's like they can still decide to not do it, even though like I don't care you part of this company, I don't care you're part of this group, I don't care that you know these people. I can see someone being like, I don't care, I'll find another way. That type of energy. I just wanted to make a point that it's not just that, but that could be a disqualifier. So it's not going to be the only reason why you could get past the gate, but it could disqualify you from getting past the gate if you don't have your shit together. Okay, so underneath those cards, we'll have 5 cards that came out on top of each other. The Chariot card is coming out in the choice point position. So can you move past this? Will you be able to walk through the awkwardness of having to cross this bridge? We have the Hierophant. Will you do better? Will you know your authority, know how to exercise your authority? Also, will you kind of be able to save face in this situation as well? It's also giving this energy of how badly did you fumble this? Like, are you able to smooth this over? Some people in the first group are not going to be able to smooth it over, and some people will kind of be able to save it. Hi, Booba. Some people will be able to kind of save face, and some people won't. And then we have the Six of Wands that's coming out in the choice point position. I'll connect it. Thank you. Thank you. Someone here? Not yet? Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll turn on. Okay, so hold on, got a visitor. Um, Let me turn my music on. We're gonna be wrapping up anyway. But yeah, so the Hierophant. Okay, then we have the Six of Wands. Both parties could actually win by giving each other a second chance or an opportunity. That was the overall message. And that's why these readings are so important, and that's why our spiritual team always has a higher vision than us. And that's why faith and trust and the relationship that we have with the divine, our spiritual team, is important. Why we may be led in different places, in different ways than we pictured it. Because the truth is, both of these parties benefit from each other, but we can choose not to see that. We could both win, but sometimes we choose not to see that. And it's coming out in the choice point position. And that's what it is. It's like a ping pong of like, oh, power plays. This person has the upper hand. Now this person has the upper hand. Now this person has the upper hand. And spiritual team is like, go a little further. You'll realize that y'all both actually need each other. Like, and I'm getting like, spiritual team is like. So on top of that, we have the Page of Cups coming out in the choice point position. And if you can see, he's pouring, oh, you probably can't see. He has a bucket of water he's pouring into the ocean or this lake. So it's kind of like this give and take type of energy, and it's giving me this energy of like how we as humans, as a species, pollute the water, not knowing that we can't even say not knowing, it's just pure ignorance. Like we all have to breathe the same air, we all have to drink the same water, and how we pollute the waters, how we pollute the waters, and how we have an ignorance of our connection to each other. And then on top of that, the Tower card. All of these cards came out in the choice point position. So we're choosing our fate, we're choosing our karma by being ignorant to how we're all connected to each other. So we can miss opportunities, or we miss opportunities on a daily basis all the time because of power plays and authorities. Like, I have the authority to do this, and I'm getting people having certain authorities and jurisdiction. It's like, we need this from this land and y'all need this from our land, but because we had a bad impression, like we have oranges over here and you need the oranges for your project or for whatever, but we're not going to let you come onto our land because you disrespected us. But it's kind of like, you know, we're both benefiting from this interaction. Very powerful. Very powerful. Oh, there's still cards. I was about to shuffle again, but we still have cards. On the top right of the spread, I'm not sure if I picked up or like talked about this card already or not, but we have the Three of Wands, and this is speaking to everything that we've been talking about. The Three of Wands can represent, say you are planning to go on a trip and you know you want to go to Europe, but you haven't really just decided all the details. So in this image, we're planning out the details. What hotel I want to go to, what hotel I want to go to, what part of Europe I want to go to, what areas, what expeditions do I want to go to. You know, you have a landmark, like I know I definitely want to see this. It's like the planning stages, and this is kind of speaking to, you know, what could be in the realm of this interaction that we've been talking about, where we're having this tit for tat with someone, but we're not realizing how we both benefit and what could come from this interaction overall. What could we build? Let's see. On the right of that, we have the Ace of Swords coming out in the choice point position. And let's see. Yeah, the Ace of Swords is coming out in the choice point position. So communication is going to be very important. Communication is going to be very important. So it's very mindful throughout this whole interaction that we're being mindful of how we're communicating, what we're communicating, and why we're communicating what we're communicating. For what reason? How we're swinging our swords, how we're using our authority is in the choice point position. And this will dictate the experience that we're going to have overall. On the right of the spread, we have the Ten of Cups in reverse. Yeah, so definitely us not realizing what all could come from what all and missed opportunities. So I do see in this reading, when I'm inquiring on the energy, there is an opportunity for us to miss opportunities. There's an opportunity for us to miss greater opportunities. And we have two cards that is coming out directly underneath this Ten of Cups. We have the Nine of Swords coming out in the resistant position. This is someone like going to sleep at night and thinking like, dang, I shouldn't have done that, or I'm worried about, well, how do I play this now? And there's this energy of, we talked about earlier about some people will be able to kind of smooth over this interaction and some people won't. But also spiritual team is saying like that is something that we don't have to do. We don't have to, that's something that we could forego of being burdened by having to smooth something over, which is why our spiritual team is wanting us to exercise our patience, be mindful of how our authority, be mindful of our shadow, keeping our shadow in check when it comes to other people. Yeah. So underneath this Ace of Swords, where we're talking about being mindful of our communication, we have the Five of Swords coming out in the resistant position. So overall, our spiritual team is saying like, try to be mindful or try to avoid, or if you do get into it with someone, like that's most likely going to be the type of energy where we could choose to like go toe to toe with someone about something. So now is not the time to get in arguments with someone. Now is not the time to go tit for tat for someone with someone. Now is not the time to like do power plays. If you do find yourself in a situation, and the tricky thing is about it also, we don't have to be the initiators, because a lot of times where we get hung up is like, I didn't start it. But our spiritual team is like, don't engage in it, regardless if the other person starts it or if you just get triggered and you're the one that starts it. It doesn't matter. It's about handling conflict. How do you handle conflict? How do you work through conflict? Oh, and then the Temperance card. Yeah, it's all a matter of temperament. So we all need to ground right now. We're all being called to ground right now and get ourselves in check and be mindful of our temperament. That's coming out in the choice point position. Very powerful, very powerful. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm not even really wanting to shuffle. I don't want to shuffle, but I feel like there might be something else. Thank you, angels, guides, ancestors, God, source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. even now, like, I kind of want to close the reading, but spiritual team is like, we have a few more things to say, and it's that energy. That's the energy that we're working with. It's like, I'm ready to move on to the next thing, or this line is taking too long, or I don't really care for this person's tone, or I don't really care for how this person is going about this or doing this. And our spiritual team is like, let them have their moment, let them exercise patience. Um, Also, it's reminding me of this energy that I have. We had a friend cat, and I say friend because you know how cats are independent. There's this female cat, and she would come visit us. We don't have cats in the house because I'm allergic to cats and dogs, but I still love them. And we named her Cow Cow because she was white and black. We also have this other regular stray cat that I don't say take care of, but we feed. His name is Cheeto. They became friends. She, I guess, noticed that we were feeding him, so she started hanging around. But she had her own business, like cats usually do. Like, we noticed that after we would feed them, she would always go back, like walk a distance to go back to wherever she came from. And I was like, she always be walking around like she got, like walking away or going wherever she goes like she got business. I was like, she got business. And then after about 3 weeks of interacting with her, one day she popped up and she just had a baby, like two baby kittens. And I guess she relocated from wherever she came from, and she decided that it was a safe neighborhood or area, so she relocated her babies. Like, we came outside and she had two kittens, and then the next day she had three kittens. And she was just playing with them. What was I trying to say with this? Um, oh, what I wanted to come. What happened was she brought her babies here because she thought it was safe, and for the most part, it is very safe over here. Not even a full week after she officially moved here, like this was gonna be her home, the street, the neighborhood. Four fucking random dogs, loose, attacked her, and we were there, and my partner was there, and we kind of like saw the last of it, and we ran out there, and we scared the dogs away, and we stopped the what could have been even more gruesome, but whatever they did do was already done. The damage was already done, and she died within the hour. We were traumatized. We were a mess. Like, why, why? Like, even just knowing, how cats are. She didn't just bring her babies the first time. Like, she actually vetted the situation. She vetted the situation, and she thought it was safe enough to bring her babies, and she did. And not even a week later, like, she would have never brought her babies here if she knew that that was gonna happen. So me and my partner got the babies after, like, we were like, we don't even know where she hid the babies because she has them in a hiding spot, and they don't even know. But they were there with her long enough to know her patterns, to know, because, like, people in the neighborhood were feeding them. Like, everybody loved them. Like, everybody loved her. There were other neighbors that were feeding them, so, like, they knew enough her patterns to know, like, eventually they got hungry. So it was 2 days later the babies popped up because they're looking for their mom, and they need to be fed. So we scooped them up, and we ended up, it was like we called around forever to find a place that they could go to, as in a actual facility. And we found one facility. We called like 20 facilities, and they were like, no, because they're not from this area. We can only service animals in this area. Like, it's a stray and it's babies. That's a whole nother conversation. But it was either take the babies to this facility that was like an hour out, or we happened to have just found someone local in our community that is knowledgeable about, how to take care of the cats. So we let them have the babies, and this person promised that they would stay in contact with us because, we just want updates. We want to know how they're doing. We want to know, what's going on with them and stuff. We care about them. We knew their mother, like we were friends with their mother and things like that. This was about, I would say, 3 weeks ago now. This person has not been in contact. This person has not, done any of the things that they said they were gonna do as far as like giving us updates. Like, we don't want too much. We also, we were wanting to contribute to, is there anything that we can get for the babies? Like, we still want to be a part of their lives, basically. This person doesn't answer any calls. This person doesn't barely to return it. They returned one of my texts, but it was very short and it didn't even address, the stuff. You know how that goes. So I'm bringing this whole story up to say that at the end of the day, the way that we found solace with the whole situation is like the reason why we decided to give it to this person in the community versus a facility is because we want the babies to be together. And this person, we trust that this person will at least keep the babies together because we know that they already been separated from their mother, and we just want to, make sure that they have a good home. That's the reason why we decided to go with this person within the community versus a facility because we know that they're going to be split up. Um, so I bring that up to say we have this kind of like hidden animosity towards this person because this person is not holding up their end of the deal, but also we know enough to know that when we see this person, because it's a matter of when we see this person, not if we see this person again, that we're not going to approach this person with hostility or animosity or be like, make it a thing, because it's not going to help the situation if if we're like, you didn't do this. I mean, we can definitely still address that, which we will, that this person didn't do any of the things, but it's about the way that we do it. So I'm being reminded of this when I'm doing this reading of grace being extended to this person. And also looking at the bigger picture is, I don't care about you not doing what you say you was going to do. Are the babies okay? How are they doing? How are you? Is there anything that we can do to help the situation? Is there anything? It's that type of energy that I'm being reminded of. So I just want to share that. And that kind of reminds me of like parents or relationships that have went sour. There's so many relationships that we've seen over and over again where there's power plays within the dynamic, and who is losing out on it? The child. And also the parents are losing out because at the end of the day they need each other, and at the end of the day they're still connected to each other literally for a lifetime, regardless if they get along. So keeping or maintaining that higher vision, maintaining that knowing, we could, oh, you didn't let me get them for this Christmas, so I'm gonna, whatever my jurisdiction is, I'm not gonna do this because you didn't do that. And spiritual team is saying higher vision, extending grace builds trust over time, or at least has the possibility to. I know these type of situations get real sticky and real complex, but that's the message. The spiritual team is saying that there is a higher plan, a higher vision, and there's opportunities for both parties to reap long term. Period. And there is a reverence, a need for reverence for the craft. There's a need for reverence for the authority that you do have. That we understand that the authority that we have is not the only authority, that there is authority over us that we answer to as well. Eight of Swords, we are our own worst enemy for not seeing the higher vision. So angels, guides, ancestors, God's source, and benevolent energies that stand in truth and love. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the protection. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We don't want to miss our blessings. We don't want to miss our protection. We don't want to miss our opportunities. I'm getting like super chills and stuff. So yeah, if you'd like to book a private reading with me, visit the link in the comment section. If you receive this message, like the video as well. And thanks for your time. Bye.